Well, if you're watching this and you've been watching all this gibberish we've been having, I'm Malcolm Nance. This is Black Men Spy. We now have everybody on board for day number 15/149 of the U.S.-Iran war. And it's going to be a short one because, believe it or not, there's not a lot happening. We went over everything yesterday, and actually, right after, we do have some updates to make about Yemen, because right after we went off air, a whole series of events happened about Yemen. But now that I am back in my house in upstate New York, I'm wearing old T-shirts, and Jacob's out there sporting that. Is that the Ukrainian national team shirt?
No, it's Dynamo Kyiv.
Oh, Dynamo Kyiv. Wow. Do they even play games anymore? God almighty.
Yeah.
I've been to the stadium.
Actually, they're playing the pre-qualification for the Europa League. They played this week. And I think it was FC Copenhagen that played Shotomir from Ukraine.
Joan Voorhees says, just FYI, hey, who's that white guy? Because you've been missing for some days there, Jacob.
Yeah, we had friends over at our beach house, and now I'm back in Copenhagen. I was traveling yesterday.
Well, it was Brothers' show for the last few days. So, all right. Good morning. Has anybody got a coffee cup other than me? Of course, I'm home, so I'm sporting my antique navy bone china 1930s coffee cup. And
Defense Intelligence
Agency. Wajeeh, what is that weird ass cup you're drinking out of? I don't ever see it. You haven't drank from that since the beginning of the war. Your Italian cup or whatever it is.
The Italian cup.
I think that's a Pier 1.
Hand-painted.
Yeah, that's a Pier 1 discount. Importers, you can't fool me. So anyway, so I'm glad that we've had this time to yak. But today is going to be more discussion than details, even though I have half a page of details on operations out of Yemen yesterday. But first, let's stick to the traditions here. Because I think it's going to be slow. Right now, I'm only counting 650 people. Santa Clara. I've been to Santa Clara. You know what? There used to be a radio program in Santa Clara that would go, Cara in Santa Clara. When I would drive from Montreal up to San Francisco, I was dating somebody in San Francisco, lived in Haight-Ashbury of all places, literally on the corner of Haight and Ashbury. And I used to drive up from Monterey, up the coastal highway. That was great. Hey, Patricia Hales from the Adirondacks, where I am. How you doing, Patricia? I'm on the lower part. Newport Beach. I like seeing where all these people are from. I hadn't been able. Corona Del Mar. And the funny thing is, I'm looking for some place I haven't been to. I have not been to Southport, North Carolina. I'll give you that one right there. So, loads of Californians. You guys, we may have to push this show back to 10 o'clock so that you can get up at a decent hour. Columbus, Ohio, got relatives.
Australia's on.
Been to Australia, been there, done that, got the T-shirt. So,
the Aussies.
Got the T-shirt to prove
that guy's going to bed. That guy's going to bed. It's nighttime in Australia. Montclair, El Dorado Hills. Now we're starting to find places I haven't been because it's moving too fast. Manchester, Connecticut, been there.
Larchmont, was it Larchmont, New York?
Berkeley,
I used to live in Larchmont, New York.
Oh, in Larchmont, really?
I did for 2 years.
Trinity, North Carolina. Where the hell's that? Now I want to know where that is. Do you ever hear places' names, and the first thing you think is, I want to go there so I can say I've been there? Trinity, North Carolina has just gotten onto my visit list. Oh, Alaska. That's amazing. We have people from Alaska. Well, we're glad. We've spent so much time in Greenland, the Trump people seem to think Alaska is the same place. As a matter of fact, they had that discussion. Remember, they were saying they wanted when they would take over Greenland, they would set it up as East and West Alaska. and they would bring tribal and governing people from Alaska over to Greenland because to them, they're all Eskimos.
And Malcolm, just for all our listeners to understand, every time Trump repeats that there are
Yes.
Russian and Chinese ships around Greenland, it's bullshit.
It's such a
The
lie.
Russian and Chinese navies cooperate off the coast of Alaska.
Off of the Bering Strait. We got that straight from Arctic Command's general, who goes, "We haven't seen any Russian or Chinese ships here." Well, and here's the kicker. They said, but within the Arctic Circle, which goes, by the way, around the top of the world, yeah, there has been a Russian and Chinese exercise out here. And he points to the Bering Strait, the Bering Sea off of northwest Alaska. And we're like, what? What? Because, and the Trump people have it in their mind, woo, the Russians and the Chinese are here. No, not on the Atlantic side at all. They're not even past Canada, for Christ's sakes. So what bullshit. Oh my God. All right, let's go on and do some things today before we run out of time. I would like to do a shorter show today. It's Sunday. Somebody, you know who had to tell me it's Sunday? Wajeeh just had to tell me it's Sunday. I had to have the our former Muslim representative come and tell me that it's Sunday. I really thought it was Friday. I gotta tell you, that's bad. So, Wajeeh, could you please, sir, bring up? I don't have a silly hat for you. I have a baseball cap here. All right. Could you please bring up for us the oil prices? And I know they haven't changed much. They've actually gone down a bit. But brother, wait till this afternoon.
WTI is sitting at 89.31. Brent crude, yes, Brent crude is sitting at 96.78. Marban is sitting at 97.05, and then OPEC is sitting at 102.76.
Well, we will see what the impact of the Axios statements that were made today. We're going to discuss about the war and negotiations, as opposed to the fact that the Red Sea is on fire, literally. The Red Sea is on fire. I was on Mario Nawafal's show. He actually got me mid drive. Somebody said they're joining from Ballymacarbery, Ireland. I'm going to look that up. Okay. You got me. You guys have stumped me for places that I've been. I'm going to double check that because I've done a lot of time in Ireland. I might have ridden a horse through there. Well, not joking. I was riding horses in Ireland for a few weeks. But, that threw me off, that town, Ballymacarbery, Ireland. Yemen was on fire yesterday. I stopped mid-drive back to brief on Mario's show, and let me tell you, the fighting was still going on. There was breaking news that was happening while we were talking about what's going on in Yemen, and we will talk that. So oil, we will see whether it responds to what's going on in Yemen or if it thinks Trump's mandatory bullshit peace is about to break out statement after he's pumped oil prices up and bought very low, whether we're going to have full-scale market manipulation. So today's significant...
Maybe the market is reacting to the fact that the U.S. is short on ammo, not least air defense interceptors.
You can't believe that. That comes from the New York Times. If it doesn't come from Barack Ravid at Axios.
Malcolm, we've known that since March, so maybe they're right this time around.
Well, they've been right for a long-ass time. It's a question of, whether it can actually be done. So significant activities today falls under the headline of taco or pausing storm. And it appears, based on reporting out of Axios this morning and late last night, that Trump is about to pull a taco. Now, a lot of people think it's a market manipulation taco. But it's a taco all the same, since Trump did not carry out his threatened airstrikes that he had promised were going to happen yesterday or Friday night. Another interpretation of it is Trump did not carry out the airstrikes on Friday night because he was on the White House Correspondents' Dinner, second 2.0, giving a 1.5-hour speech and making some of the worst jokes ever played in history. Clearly, Stephen Miller whipped out the Joseph Goebbels joke book and came out with a whole series of ridiculous. I mean, it's like that scene in it's like that scene in the movie Producers, where the song "Sing Time" or "Springtime for Hitler" is sung in the original version, and then the song stops and it looks out at the audience and they're all sitting there with their mouths open like, it's just nothing for 5 seconds, right? That was Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it wasn't Tom Nichols, but he retweeted somebody who wrote, the reason the United States didn't bomb Iran on Friday night is because Trump thought it a higher priority to bomb at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So that's what happened. So are we in a full-scale taco, or as I said to Mario, or we are in a PMs, right? Planned maintenance checks, rechecks, and a strategic pause before, or an operational pause before a massive air campaign begins in Iran. And they would have needed that. They would have needed a full day to sit back, recheck all the aircraft, especially if you're going deep overland in Iran. Get all that stuff, get all your weapons counted for, then report back, and then get your target sets brought in from Defense Intelligence Agency or CENTCOM to determine what the scope of this campaign was going to be. So we are either taco, which it is looking strongly like, or we are in an operational pause before the storm. Yes, Wajeeh.
Chief, I think you are very close to truth because the news just came out 10 minutes ago. Al Arabiya have said that the US and the Iranians both have submitted their responses to the Pakistani Qatari proposal for resuming talks.
What Pakistani Qatari proposal? Is that
I'm
like
just
months
saying.
ago? Months ago?
Actually, they're talking now. And they have been talking on the sides. No one has been reporting on that, but they've been talking, even though the fight has been going.
I know I'm just a little tired from all the bullshit. Is this the 10-day temporary ceasefire proposal that was put on the table a couple of days ago? I got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No one took that shit seriously. The Iranians rejected it right out of hand.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Jake.
And why? Because, of course, they will not give up on the control of the Strait of Hormuz as a precondition. I mean, even a third grader could figure that out.
Yeah, well, we have some notes on this. First, let me go over some of the activities that are happening in the Gulf before we go to Yemen and talk about the taco or wait to go that Trump is doing. Pause or no pause, right? Go, no go, taco, nacho. So first, there have been no strikes by the United States since Thursday, Friday. The Strait of Hormuz, right now, no ships have entered because the Iranians fired shots across the bow using small craft with machine guns and have turned away 6 vessels that attempting to use the Omani traffic separation scheme, or the Strait of Trump, guardian angel, guardians of the Strait traffic separation scheme. right? So they fired on them and turned back 6 vessels. By the way, I've had a count. There are still over 400 vessels in the Persian Gulf with 6,000 mariners who have not escaped, have not escaped the Strait of Hormuz. So there is still that crisis going on there. The IRGC spokesman yesterday said, listen, the Americans have lost their way and they don't have a clear strategy. That's why nothing's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. That's why they didn't attack us. Damn. The Iranians are fucking just like, our new policy will be to tell the truth. We will not lie about nothing.
When your opponent lies that much, you can't beat him at lying. Then you better tell the truth.
That's right. With tears in my eyes, I will tell the
With
truth.
tears in my eyes.
Yeah. So the Oman and Iran, the Omanis, by
You
the
know
way,
the Saudis. You know the Saudis have tears in their eyes. Actually, at this moment,
tears in my eyes. Ya Yubka, Ya Yubka Allah. I'm crying. I'm
Ya
crying
Allah.
for God. Do you know how much money? Have you seen my portfolio? It is almost empty. We are down to just $100 billion. Where are we going to eat?
Well, actually, they had to buy. They're more than $30 billion deficit because of this war.
I would take it out of the Trump Project Central Park. It's Trump Central Park, Riyadh, or wherever it's going to be. I personally would like to see them build a Trump Central Park, Riyadh, so that when Trump has to be brought into account and he defects on that Qatari airplane, he has some place to go that he doesn't have to leave. All right? It'll just be buildings with fucking cheap spray painted gold on everywhere. I mean, it'll be amazing. And you Saudis can keep them until, of course, the Iran-Saudi war breaks out.
Saudis can keep them.
Can keep them. You'll see them dancing with the little herding, the camel herding stick, right? And he'll learn to do the sword dance. I mean, it'll be great. Next thing you know, and being Donald Trump, he'll put on a long ass wig and do the women's hair dance. Right?
We should establish his Desert Lago.
Yeah, Desert Lago. It's official. Middle East death. Rename that Desert Lago now. Okay.
The Lago, will it be in the Gulf or on the Red Sea?
No, downtown Riyadh, Desert Lago.
Desert.
Desert Lago, not Gulf Lago. All right, CENTCOM, in order to brag that they're doing something, put out a press release that they have turned back 12 ships. That's 2 times as many as Iran has turned back in the last 24 hours. Well, look, here's how bad I thought this was today. I have written down No Strike Friday. I literally did not know which day of the week it was. This is getting out of hand, people. I can't tell what day it is. It's No Strike Sunday. Yes, Jacob, help me.
Yeah, but just to let you know, half an hour before we came on, it was reported that a ship had been struck in the Strait of Hormuz because it deviated from the Iranian multi-pass, easy pass lane.
Yeah. That was one of those ships they hit it with a machine gun. They set a fire near
it was just before we came on.
Right. Oh, okay.
They said it was because of a mine, but we've heard that before. It might be a flying mine.
A flying
into the
mine.
window or something. We don't know.
It struck us in the bridge. It is a mine. Now, mines, people, big balls under the water. Boom. Okay, that's great. Well, maybe it's not No Strike Friday. It was No Strike Friday. It's now Full Strike Sunday or Mine Strike Sunday. The Omanis are in Tehran meeting with the Iranians about the traffic separation scheme of both countries sharing that. The Omanis, if you recall a couple of weeks ago, with Trump pressuring them, were saying, oh, we don't want any money. We just want people to Drive through free, baby. Drive through free. And the Iranians are like, bullshit. We'll sink every damn thing that comes through. You're going to accept that. He's like a pimp. You're going to accept that money and you're going to come here and you're going to give it to me. All right. So the Iranians, but the Omanis were saying, hey, well, why don't you just let ships come in free on the Omani side and go out through the Iranian side? Which was, it's a bullshit Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio bullshit, right? It's like, yes, the Iranians will truly accept this if they get their money. These people are fucking morons, I swear to God. Diplomacy. So according to Barak Ravid at Axios, we should call the Omanis, as I said, are also delivering messages in Tehran for Trump. Now, don't forget, Prime Minister Abadi of Iraq last week went there with a message. The Iranians are like, yeah, right. Boom, right into the fucking burn bag. All right, it threw it right into a fire. It's like, you mean this message? Boom, right into the fire. We're not reading that shit. That fucking drunk ass old drunk monkey with a machine gun. No, tell you what, no.
And all that reporting, is just, sand into the eyes of people, because everyone knows that at the end of the day, Iran decides what's going to happen. They're not going to compromise on the Strait of Hormuz and what they are and their holder.
Diane Kay says Al Jazeera just reported Iranian media says a tanker exploded after hitting a Strait of Hormuz mine. But that's Iranian media. It's in their interest to say, Hussein, what the fuck, man? 148 days. No one's hit a mine yet. Yes, but they found that one off Musandam. They found it. We need somebody to start hitting them. Hit them with the drone at the bottom. Call the media and tell them it was a mine, because that's when shit will get crazy, right? I've hit a mine, did not like it. It threw my 30,000 ton helicopter carrier into the air 6 feet, lifted it up, and then dropped us. And I was like, that wasn't good. That's not good. Funny story, the moment that happened, I was with the Marines and they were putting on their body armor and grabbing their rifles in a potential abandoned ship situation. So that was hilarious.
Did they start shooting in the air?
Iran's military spokesman just came out and said that the retaliatory operations in the Gulf has halted, but warned that the conflict will expand across the region if the U.S. continues its attacks.
Yep. I like what Malakopolis, I can't even pronounce his name. He writes, this is like watching a wrestler getting choked out, but refusing to tap. I'm winning. Okay. Yeah, you keep winning. Winning, lights out. Unhealthy drunk monkeys. So Barak Ravid reports that diplomacy is still Trump's preferred method of operation. He knows and is starting to come to the realization that these strikes, these limited strikes, are not having the effects that he wanted. And the effect that he wanted was for Iran to say, oh, this is too hard. We'll come back to the table and renegotiate the MOU in favor of the United States. What kind of, I shit you not, Adderall is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. What in God? Wait, Cheryl Lincoln, stop that. Cheryl Lincoln says, it's Friday, Malcolm. No worries. It's not Friday. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Guys, don't freak me out like that. This is what happens when our days just blend back and forth and we're on like missions, right? It's just like there is no Friday. There is no Sunday. There's no days off. You're pulling 12 on, 12 on, 6 off, 6 in training. And you're like, what the hell? Okay. Somebody says to limit the sophomoric stuff. Are you aware, Dirk Fagra, that this is precisely how intelligence briefs are delivered? In the sophomoric humor compartment and you will never know because it comes in a compartmented room that you're not allowed access to. We have a grand old time, and it's just
Yep.
like this. But this is the way that we do analysis in real time. So, Barack Ravid says the resources are still moving into the theater to give Trump the option to blow things up.
Options.
Options. Now, Trump has stated that, quote, the smarter strategy for Iran is to, quote, make a deal, unquote. Is that the only words in his life? Let's make a deal. The man is a used car dealer. Clearly.
He should talk a bit more about his own strategy and not, talk about Iran's strategy, because I think Iranians are pretty much, clear on their strategy as opposed to himself.
Yep.
Yeah. As somebody asked,
He
from
doesn't
across
have
the
a strategy.
He doesn't
He
have
doesn't.
strategy.
No.
Let me quote the Iranian Revolutionary Guard spokesman who decided that speaking the truth is all he'll do. I'll read it again. Americans have lost their way and they don't have a clear strategy. Mastering the obvious. Apparently, the Iranians know it, but we don't know it, right? So, that being said, somebody says, hey, Wendy Cleave says, we need the sophomoric humor or we'll cry. That's very true. Okay, well, I haven't even gotten to the Yemen part. That's where the tears are going to start rolling down your eyes. Barack Ravid also claims that Trump is still communicating with Iran. If he is doing it through other intermediaries, such as the Iraqi prime minister and the Omanis. But Iran is not listening to them because, as I said, that good analogy that Trump is being, the United States and the world market is being choked out, and that we are just not recognizing that we're about to pass out. Okay, General Kane, in the New York Times reporting on this, made it pretty clear to the president that the United States has a limited number, of interceptors that in our entire U.S. military inventory. And that number of Patriot and THAAD interceptors is nearing the 50% point, which means we have no capacity to fight a real war if it were to erupt in China. If somebody were to just come out of nowhere and start attacking us in Europe, I'm looking at you, Russia, or if Iran decided to take this a year. Okay. And let me tell you something. We have been in this circumstance in Operation Southern Watch and Operation Northern Watch in Iraq for almost 10 years, where we had aircraft flying over southern Iraq and northern Iraq and bombing Iraqi air defense systems every day for 10 years. 1,500 strikes on little anti-aircraft guns and trucks and jeeps because we didn't want them to bring air defense systems southern Iraq and northern Iraq for the Kurds and the Iraqi Shia in the south. We had a stalemate for 10 years where we bombed. And we bombed so much that everyone forgot we were there bombing. So we could literally, the Iranians could hold us up there for the next 10 years doing what we're doing right now. I'm telling you right now, they could easily go another 6 months, right? Easy. Wajeeh, you have a question or you have a comment, sir?
I have a couple points. For THAAD missiles, we only have 200 left globally.
Jesus Christ.
For Patriot missiles, we have report indicates 1,200 Patriot interceptors have been expended in the last 39th day. Approximately what is left in the stockpile pre-war, what's left is about 900.
2,000. What? 900.
What's left is 900. And Tomahawk missiles, we have estimate of 3,650.
Yeah. Tomahawk's an offensive weapon. How can we be down to 900 Patriots? Right? Because that comment, if I was sitting on the joint staff and I was a senior enlisted, I'd be going, are you shitting me? Fucking Ukraine fired off 800 Patriots in 4 years of constant day, night, 24-hour bombardment by Russia. So how are we expending? How many Patriots did we blast off? 1,200 in less than 40, 60 actual days of combat?
Yeah.
Are you shitting me? God damn, we're a bunch of fucking idiots. I shit you not.
And
this isn't funny. This isn't funny. That's you are, as we say in the Navy, this is damage control time now. Damage control time means whatever has to be done to stop the flooding, right? Whatever has to be done to stop this. General Kane should have given him a no shit assessment. Mr. President, we cannot do this, right? Our allies are going to be bombarded. We could be losing 10, 15 U.S. soldiers a day if you go back into this. Jacob.
And I got my screwdriver out now.
Shit.
And already back in, I believe it was mid-March or late March, the International Institute for Strategic Studies put out that report talking about how long it would take to build up the stockpile again. And, for pack interceptors, already back then, it was something like 3 years. So it's because the capacity to produce new ones isn't as
I'm going to tell you guys a quick little anecdote. As you guys know, I live in between Philadelphia and upstate New York, and I actually was stopped by a guy who saw a sticker on my car. We were way up near Saratoga, and turns out he was a submarine rider. All right, he was qualified in submarines. He rode submarines his whole career. I saw his license plate. He saw my sticker, and we just sat together and started talking. Funny submarine talk. And he was a nuke. He worked the nuclear reactor, electronics engineer. Got out and was working at an advanced technology company in upstate New York that was doing advanced tech defense contracting. And I was like, hey, man, so he's like, you're talking on TV and you're writing books. That's freaking amazing. You got out of the Navy. You could do that. I go, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, I'm in advanced tech. And I said, so what's going on in that industry? He says, I'm going to be straight with you, brother. All right, this is a white guy. He goes, Americans won't work. They're lazy. We fire 2 people for every 1 person that we hire. And the 1 person that we hire that always stays and does the job is always a veteran. The average civilian we bring from a university, the average civilian that we hire from, maybe some mechanical company to do mechanical tech, he said these people will be on their phones half the day, and then the other half, they come in high. And I was like, this isn't funny. He goes, that's the civilian marketplace. They are giving triple bonuses to people from the armed forces because the people from the armed forces, like me, will get up at 4 a.m., be in that shop at 6 a.m., start building THAAD interceptor components and supervise these other people. And they will stay until their shift is done and meet all the quality assurance checklist stuff. Whereas civilians hired on the open market can barely, this guy said many of the civilians they have who are mechanical workers, the guys who actually put together the screws into the pipes and things like that, most of them are near functionally illiterate.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not just saying this is everybody. I'm saying that he can't hire. They have military contracts. They can't hire anyone other than veterans who will do the job.
And, important to understand when you have a defense industrial base that hasn't been, properly invested in for 20, 30 years, all you can do in the short term is to go to 3 shifts. You can, if you produce whatever in one day, you can go to 3 shifts. And when you add that up, so it's simple maths to do these calculations, because you can't just, get a pack 2 or pack 3 interceptor factory out of the blue.
Jacob, let's be honest. If those people haven't served in the military, they're not fucking pulling mid-watch. They are not going to work from 11:30 to 6:30 in the morning. They're not. Okay. No. Civilians don't even know what that is. So if you're talking, hey man, I want you to pull in 8-hour shifts starting at 11:30 at night, and you got to do your best work around 3 a.m., where we all know that's zero dark 30. That's dozy time between 3:30 and 5 a.m. That's why we always attack between 1:30 and 5 a.m. because we know that's when people start falling asleep. You want to build a THAAD seeker, high technology. I'm afraid to say you're going to have to go this way. You're going to have to automate it. You're going to have to take humans out of that element to do the Homer Simpson. Press the button. Right? Press the button while drinking from an irradiated cup, because we can't build the tech that's required with the mindset of Trump, because their mindset is, we want you to bid on this, but you're not going to be able to get the kind of money. If you want war funding, it's going to cost you triple whatever it would normally cost you. Right? And America, can I be honest with you guys for a second? I know we're rambling on this subject. We'll get to Yemen. We can't even build our own fucking roofs on our own houses. We can't do our own gardens. We can't sweep our own streets, and we can't educate or take care of our own children. So don't think that we're going to be building the most advanced surface-to-air missile systems in no time. And another thing is, they won't hire a goddamn person with a university degree to do this. They all want to manage, right? Which is why they're just hiring everyone who comes out of the armed forces, because they know how to stay awake. They know how to do the job. They know when it's time to go to lunch, they go to lunch, and they'll be back on time or 15 minutes early prior to that. So we may actually not lose this war. We may lose the next war with China. I think China, if I were China, I would have no problem invading Taiwan, because Donald Trump would not do it. There are no defense.
What are you going to do with 200 THAAD missiles? What are you going to do with 200? You can't even sustain a day or two of war.
You can't protect South Korea from Trump's bestest commie buddy, North Korea. This would also embolden North Korea.
Yeah.
It's like America, they have nothing. They can't defend it.
But he's in love. They're in love. Is the love affair, is that over? His love affair with Kim.
Serious bad business. Speaking of seriously bad business, let's move on to the Red Sea, shall we? We talked about this extensively. We did a whole show on it yesterday, and the minute we finished that show, all sorts of shit happened the minute that show was done. So here's what happened in the Red Sea yesterday. As you all know, this was precipitated by the Saudi Arabians bombing Sana'a International Airport last week, as the Yemeni and an Iranian group were coming back from Tehran from the Ali Khamenei funeral. Saudi Arabia bombed Sana'a Airport in front of cameras, forced that aircraft to divert to Hodeidah, which is a Houthi-run airstrip. It is a old-ass single-runway airstrip, and the Houthis promised revenge. The revenge that they got came a day after, out of nowhere, at nobody's prompting, the Yemeni army started moving up the coast this is the recognized government of Yemen that the United States deals with. We call them the YAR, right? The Yemeni Arab Republic's army started moving into Houthilandia. And then the Houthis said, this must have something to do with the Saudis and the Americans. Now, Saudi Arabia bombs the airport. The Houthis sink a Saudi oil tanker, set it on fire. It blazed, total loss, damaged the second one in the Red Sea. Then the Saudis bombed Hodeidah port. Everybody's bombed Hudaydah Port. My house cleaner, all right, bombed Hudaydah Port. And do you know why that's even funnier? I don't have a house cleaner. So, so everyone's hit that port. The Israelis, the Americans, the Israelis, and the Jordanians may even have bombarded it. The Saudis, okay, they bomb Hudaydah Port, right? What do you think the Yemenis are going to do? Nothing. Like we talked about yesterday morning. Here's the nothing that they did. I'll recap yesterday. The Yemenis fired 5 ballistic missiles into the Jazan oil refinery, the 5th largest oil refinery in Saudi Arabia, and set it on fire. That's what the Houthis did. All right. Major conflagration going on there. And then the Saudis, I don't think the Saudis did anything at that point. Right as soon as the show ended, as if Jazan wasn't enough, the Houthis fired 2 ballistic missiles into the city of Yanbu, which is the biggest oil shipment port in the Red Sea. It is the last lifeline of Saudi Arabia. Between 7 and 5 million barrels per day is coming from eastern Saudi Arabia, going across the pipeline to western Saudi Arabia to Yanbu. And we said on this show yesterday, if they start attacking Yanbu, all bets are off. 3, 2, 1. They attacked Yanbu. Did they hit it? No. Turns out interceptors fired by the Greek Air Force shot down the ballistic missiles and the Shahed drones. The Houthis said, we have done 2 special operations against Saudi Arabia. And as far as we're concerned, halas, nothing more is happening.
You notice that you said the Greek, not the U.S.?
The Greek Air Force, the Hellenic Air Force, is manning Patriot batteries off of Yanbu. They're doing it because the Saudi asked for experienced Patriot crews and giving them operational experience. They're better than the Saudis. I've seen the Saudis, mashallah, Saudis fire their own Patriots and make them go stupid, trying to intercept the missile at a low altitude, miss, and the missile go right down into Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Boom, blowing up in their own city. They fired when the Ukrainians were there at the beginning of this war. The Ukrainians were saying they were firing 3 Patriots for every missile coming in and were engaging Shahed drones with Patriots. And the Ukrainians are like, whoa, no. We need those fucking missiles. Shoot one, and only shoot it at ballistic missiles. So This is why the Hellenic Air Force is there to help the Saudis improve. So after the show had ended, it appeared that the tit for tat was over, right? Saudi Arabia hits the Yemenis hit the Saudi oil refineries, take a shot at Yanbu. Nope. I mentioned this yesterday and the day before. There appears to be a campaign pushed by the United States to get our proxies to start carrying out activities against Iran's proxies, where this whole push to get the Lebanese army into southern Lebanon and to fill these slots that the Israelis are pulling out of. The Israelis pull back 500 meters, the Lebanese army move in there with supposedly U.S. Army support soon. Okay, that's interesting. But then we had that group in Syria pop up and go, we should invade Lebanon and kill Hezbollah from the rear. And then you get the United States asking Jolani, right, of Syria, the president of Syria, to actually invade and fight Hezbollah in the Bekaa Valley. Okay, and then we start getting al-Abadi of Iraq comes back, right? And he's talking about mobilizing the Iraqi army to help with these proxies, to help against the popular, not to help, to disarm the Iraqi-Iranian militias. The militias that defeated ISIS in Iraq, okay, to great losses, which means that anyone that survived that mission is a hardcore veteran. Okay, and we're expecting our allies.
What was the militia called? Because I know some of حاسس الشعبي اوكي
the popular mobilization fronts.
It's a mix
Right.
of all the
It's all those
different
militias. That's a collective name. So now, we have Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and then boom, lo and behold, yesterday, out of nowhere, freaking Yemeni Arab Republic F-5 freedom fighter aircraft fly strike missions from Aden, go up into the middle of Houthilandia, and start dropping bombs on what they claim were drone launch sites, ballistic missile pads, and other things. I started looking around. It's like, the last mission they flew was in 2015. The fuck did these guys come from, right?
all of a sudden.
All of a sudden. And then I said, you weren't here yesterday, Jacob. I remembered this. I remember the last time that this happened. 1983. Young Malcolm was sitting there minding his own business in early September of 1983. And out of nowhere, the Lebanese army, with U.S. Army advisors, suddenly do this massive push into the Shuf Mountains overlooking Beirut to take a town called Souk al-Garb. And that was to remove it from the control of the Lebanese Druze, who were the most powerful militia at that time. And I was like, minding my own business, right? And it's just like, Lebanese army, tanks, armor, moving, what? And of course, guess who else noticed it? Every other damn militia in Beirut started shooting at them. And then, lo and behold, out of nowhere, for the first time since 1973 war, Lebanese Air Force Hawker hunters took off and started doing airstrikes in Souk al-Garb. And I said, yesterday I thought, this playbook is older than me. I mean, this is stupid. We got the Houthis to attack, the South Yemenis to attack the Houthis yesterday. Lo and behold, by 5 p.m. yesterday, we're getting reports of new Yemeni armed forces, ground forces, not on the coast, but if you go up to, what's the name of the town? I've got it here. It's on the western border of Houthilandia up there. Marib. The town of Marib. No, not the western border, the eastern border. Eastern mountains there, right? Out of the lowlands is a report that the Yemeni Arab Republic forces are moving from the desert and approaching into the mountains around Marib and the Al Jalf governorate, where they're going to get their asses handed to them. They are literally dirt farmers going up into hillbilly landia, while these guys have advanced Iranian weapons. You know what? They're the goddamn Tusken Raiders from Star Wars, right? They just sit up there and they just plunk down at you. That force is going to get slaughtered, but I'm going to mark my words. It's probably backed by U.S. Special Operations Forces. We just haven't said. Because out of nowhere, the Yemeni army just decides, hey, let's do attack in the east and an attack in the west and start doing airstrikes all on our lonesome? Coincidence takes a lot of planning. And I think this planning happened over at the fucking J2 section of Central Command. Because Yemen, by the way, and it all happens after they start blowing up tankers. Somebody's been waiting for this for a long time.
And
So
if you
Yemen's
want to
on
do
fire.
something meaningful like that, it takes longer.
It takes a lot.
This is like,
Let's just go up there. So now the Yemenis are on the march. The Lebanese are on the march. The Iraqis are saying they're going to disarm all of the Iraqi militia, Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. Really? I would like to see that. I would like to see that. You and one army, right? The Iraqi army is actually a very good army. It's a very good army, especially as you let Iraqi Special Operations Command, Special Forces, didn't even work for the government of Iraq for the first 10 years. They were a branch of U.S. Special Operations Command. Same thing with Iraqi police SWAT. They were just a branch of U.S. Special Operations. But guess what? They're still 75% Shia Muslim, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to go, wait, you want me to disarm my cousin Hussein and my cousin, Abdullah? No, I'm not doing that. They got guns. So that's what's going on. The United States apparently is pushing its own proxies to start attacking. And yesterday they started attacking in Yemen. I will go out on a limb right now and say that they're going to get their asses handed to them, and that this is going to escalate now that the
Remember,
Red Sea and the Bab el Mandab is closed. Please.
just to remind everyone, the Yemeni leadership that is fighting the Houthis in Yemen are all in Saudi Arabia. All of them. All of them are making decisions out of 5-star hotels from the Ritz-Carlton. All of them have the Saudi ambassador to Yemen is inside of Saudi Arabia. The Yemeni minister of foreign relations lives in Saudi Arabia. So by this point, like, why would any of their decisions be considered Yemeni to the rest of the Yemeni people? These are outsiders at this point.
Yeah, this reminds me. This reminds me of something that happened when I was in Libya. I had to meet with the commander at that point of the Libyan rebels, and I said to my compatriot who was with me from an Arab state, I said, "If this guy," I said, "how many phones do you think are on his desk? If he has maps, charts, papers, and a strategic battle staff, he's in charge. If he's sitting there with 3 phones on his desk, it's a fucking loser." Right? We walk in the room. He's got 2 phones on his desk. He doesn't even have 3. Maybe he had one on his hip. That was it. He had no battle staff. Everything was like, "Hello, I'm sitting here in the Field Fadil Hotel. I would like to have another champagne cocktail." "Oh, I'm sorry. This is 3rd Brigade? I thought it was room service." This guy, that's the way they are. The Yemeni government is in the Ramada, the Hojo, the Howard Johnsons, Jeddah, and they're all sitting there eating shrimp cocktail and in charge of Yemen. The Houthis are in the mountains, literally the Tuscan Raiders with their long rifles shooting at great distances. And, they're just going to wipe out whoever's coming up there. So that's what's going on. Not just that that the Saudis and the Houthis are exchanging things. Apparently, the United States has encouraged the Yemenese government in Saudi Arabia to actually start carrying out airstrikes and micro invasions of Houthilandia. And this is only going to get more interesting. So that is all that's going on in Yemen. The Bab el Mandab waterway is technically closed right now. Ships are diverting on their own. Boy, oil prices, if something happens tonight, like another ballistic missile attack on Yanbu, and if I were the Iranians, I'd be telling them, just 2 more missiles at Yanbu. Do it before the markets, as soon as the markets open. When Trump says, "I have a peace deal," launch 2 into Yanbu.
Yeah.
Because we know that taco's coming.
And mix in some drones so you confuse even the Hellenic Air Force.
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody says you need to put on your beret of stupidity, I should bust that out. I've unpacked here this morning. I'll bust out the beret of stupidity. It's Russian airborne light blue, right? It's VDV light blue.
VDV.
So, by the way, I have a full VDV combat uniform suite. We took their headquarters in Kupiansk. I have 3 of the striped T-shirts. I gave one to the Spy Museum, and another one's going to David P. He's a guy that is out big on the internet, big analyst, but he runs a museum in Texas. He has like 24 armored vehicles, and I'm giving him all of my VDV stuff that we captured because those guys are awesome.
And just for our viewers, the VDV is the Russian air assault division. And they're a bit of a joke because they committed schoolboy errors in the beginning of the
war.
like just launching into the Hostomel airport, launching into central Kharkiv without, any proper planning, and they were molested.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you something. And my favorite video to date, set aside the Iranian Lego videos because they're classic. They're just the best. But
They're
they're
the
the
VDV.
best psychological warfare operation video I've ever seen. But the Russians made a video that was about the VDV, right? And it's like VDV. The lyrics are VDV, our blue berets. It's not blue. What is it? Turquoise berets or something like
Yeah.
that. And they show these cheesy VDV guys doing the karate punches. Well, someone re-edited that after the invasion of Ukraine. And it was about the VDV massacring themselves in Hostomel. My favorite, did you know that there was a jump off of Odessa? And that jump took place in midday. They released them early and they all parachuted into the ocean and drowned.
Oh, that's
Under
genius,
fire?
isn't it?
Jesus Christ. So I will one day whip out my beret of stupidity. I have some Russian badges, and we will have that will be the VDV honorary beret badge. It was my French badge. So, okay, let's go to questions because
I have an important
please
thing.
make a comment.
Because I don't think you've talked about the Caspian Sea yesterday.
I did
that
not.
happened last night, Denmark time, Copenhagen time, and the Caspian Sea. It's up here, north of Tehran, and the
Principal
Ukrainians.
transshipment route of heavy material from Russia to Iran goes by ship in the Caspian Sea. It's as big as the Black Sea, right? Is it bigger than the Black Sea? I think so.
No, the Black Sea is bigger, but
but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, it's the second lake in the world.
Yep, the largest. Yes,
up here.
Second biggest freshwater.
Anyway, the Ukrainians struck it. The Iranians, went ballistic and threatened retaliation, etc., etc. And it was a shipment of Russian arms. And
it was not an Iranian ship, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Russian ship carrying arms to Iran.
Yes, exactly.
And now they mad. They big mad.
They're big mad. And the interesting thing here is that comes hours after Donald Trump first stated and then put out on Truth Social that he believed Vladimir Putin and President Xi when they stated they did not support the Iranians. He did that, early on Saturday or Friday night. And then this comes right after. And Zelensky has just come out and say, well, we have all the evidence. We know how the Russians are supporting the Iranians, etc., etc. And Donald Trump is just, no. It's okay. And it's costing American lives.
President Xi came out and said he never made any such statement that he wouldn't provide material support to Iran. He never made any such statement. And unfortunately, I believe him over Donald Trump. Donald Trump is you don't have to laugh.
That's
Donald Trump's a pathological liar.
Right.
He's a pathological liar. So I find this story fascinating that the Iranians called in the ambassador to Ukraine or whatever, and would go out and bitch about a ship being damaged or sunk that was carrying war materials to Iran. Because the correct answer to that is, you're mad? Motherfucker, you gave them 30,000 Shahed drones, which we have shot down every minute of the day over 4 years. You shot them into our country. And Iran's like, oh, we could be shooting ballistic missiles at you. Bitch, if I were you, I put this out yesterday. Iran don't need this smoke. Okay. They don't need this smoke. The biggest insult that I've had in my career thus far is that when I was working for GUR, which is Ministry of Ukrainian Defense Intelligence, Ministry of Defense Intelligence, which has multiple sides. There's its overt side. We have an International Legion paramilitary side that I helped set up. But they also have a covert and clandestine capability around the world. I mean, they were putting drones into PMC Wagner soldiers in Khartoum, Sudan. They were working with not terrorist groups, but militias to wipe out convoys of Russian mercenaries in Central Africa, Central African Republic. If you know what, we have this saying in the military, right? Smoke them if you got them. Well, Ukraine's philosophy is kill them if you find them. And if Iran's like, oh, we are going to shoot ballistic missiles at you, what the fuck you going to do to them that Russia hasn't been doing every day and every night? But you would be unleashing a new component of ass kicking on Iranian assets around the world if you screw with the Ukrainians. Ships would just start blowing up and sinking.
And this also tells you, because our audience here probably have heard Donald Trump complaining about the Europeans not supporting the US against Iran. But, this just shows you why no sane European would, and why the Ukrainians wouldn't anyway, because Trump denies all this stuff that we're all saying. And
Seen with
he
our
comes
own
out and
eyes.
says this stuff about Putin. Why, and it's even costing American lives. Why should we trust him? Because we can't. And that's, it's crazy. It's mind-boggling.
So Joff asked this question. Hey, Senior Chief, I keep hearing about Trump attacking Cuba soon because his ego is so wounded from losing in Iran. Is there anything to this? Is it imminent? What would it look like? What would be the result? No, it's not imminent. I think it may happen after the midterms, where he just needs a win. Remember, this army doesn't win. He thinks that Cuba would be another Venezuela. To kill one guy, capture or kill Raul Castro, and the whole country collapses. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think it would be a protracted Vietnam-style war that would go on for a very long time because the hardliners over there, they'd rather shoot our ass than be invaded because most people don't like being invaded. How many billions of dollars? This is from Amy Summers. How many billions of Dr. Evil dollars is dopey dementia patient going to promise the Iranians this time? $400 billion. Okay. And we want it now. Okay. That's the kind of deal that he would have. Didn't the Iranians say they would carpet bomb their own land? Are we just going to test it? No, they're not going to carpet bomb their own land. They would just use suicide bombers. No one's going onto Iranian ground, even though I have predicted that this phase of the war, if it were to scale up, would involve amphibious raids and demonstrations along the coast. Well, apparently Taco Sunday, Taco Thursday, Saturday, I don't know. It's taco night somewhere. And it is definitely nacho. Hey, we got to come up with one for the Bab Mendab, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Bab no, right? Bam no, right? Bab Mendab never opens, will not open. These punch junk nitwits are ruining tacos and nachos for me. That's from Rue.
Bab and Mendab, call it Baba.
No more Mexican.
I'm getting tacos tonight. Let me see. Mr. Global from PE McClanahan says, Mr. Global suggested that Russia's open involvement in providing weapons to Iran may be the end or the beginning of the end of the conflict. He's suggesting that Trump will pull out as to not be an open conflict with Russia. No, you mean have a fight with daddy? This is like going and stealing money out of dad's wallet while he's drunk from beer. Sleeping on the couch. Putin wakes up and finds that out. There's going to be a slap. We're not going to attack Russian ships transporting material on the Caspian. Well, we're not. But I know somebody who will. Okay.
These guys.
These guys, right? This guy right here. He needs ammo, not a ride. Now we don't even need the ammo. He's doing it on his own. The Kremlin's checks must not be. There are a lot of people who are saying people are now having a change of heart about Ukraine. Like, what's her name? That bimbo.
Yeah, what's
whatever her name is.
Laura Loomer.
Laura Loomer and Tim Pool, who was getting $100,000 a month from Russia, are all having these change of hearts, right?
Yeah.
Somebody says, question.
Yeah.
Somebody says, can we confirm a VLCC tanker actually struck a mine this morning? Well, we'll see. We have not confirmed that. Al Jazeera said it did. We shall see. That comes from Iranian sources. I need to see a ship listing on fire and going, Mayday, 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 we have struck a mine. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday on channel 16. Because I've heard that before. And they were ships we were escorting. Oh, yikes. That wasn't very good. Okay, finally, is a decision to involve proxies a result of the single front not progressing as planned, thus needing new fronts? Or is this an attempt by Hegseth and his evangelicals to kickstart Armageddon? The first one. Look, I'm sure somewhere in there Armageddon is part of their plan, but this is because they don't know what they're doing. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Okay, wow, that was an exciting short day. We went over 10 minutes. And yes, I know you guys, we do have lighthearted, fun banter, but if you want a real straight intelligence report, you're not going to get one on the internet. All right. No one's going to be giving you a strategic command briefing with all the highlighted points. This is literally what it's behind the closed cipher locked door. This is how we talk. So please enjoy it. Enjoy the light humor because, as somebody said earlier, you'll just effing cry if all you get is these reports to see how bad it could really get. And it could get bad. So with that being said, by the way, first time I said that today, I am going to go cut my grass and de-weed a rose bed before I check up on that mine that hit that. Then I'm going on a 5K run. Then I might even go on a little biking ride and have a coffee down in town like I'm a normal person, because I haven't been able to do that. Even in France, I was being interrupted by all the stupid shit that was going on in the United States. But I could assuage my grief with Sancerre and, poulet fumé wine.
It's official.
What's that? God damn it. What's official?
Trump paused Iran strikes to allow diplomacy to take place.
Ravid, right?
That is actually straight from the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz.
Oh, Mike Waltz.
Mike Waltz. Oh, my
Mike
God.
Waltz. Anyway,
God.
yeah, okay. Taco,
Mikey.
Taco man. Trump wants to be a taco man. All right, that's the end of today's show. Thank you all for coming. If you watch this on YouTube, you're late. My YouTube numbers are going up. I appreciate it. And for those of you who are on Substack, you should be watching this every day because the war is really, it has only two places to go. Full-scale negotiation and the economy doesn't crack, or war and the economy cracks. That's it. No options, no in-betweens. So thank you for coming. Please have a nice Sunday. Enjoy your day. Please put this out of your mind. All right? Go de-weed a flower bed like I'm going to do. And we will see you all tomorrow. And hopefully there will be nothing to report except oil manipulation, which we expect. So, take care. Jacob, Wajeeh, thanks for coming. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.